Clark and Angel Reese are going to be on the same team.
We've never played together.
I know so many fans are going to come out to watch both of us.
Have always been great competitors. She played in the Big Ten for a while.
He and Caitlyn Clark don't hate each other.
This time it's Iowa.
Caitlyn Clark, Angel Reese.
Sky Fever lives up to the hype.
Hopefully 2028 we'll be Olympians together too.
Court Vision 360 fans, buckle up. We're on the verge of witnessing one of the most explosive showdowns in basketball history, a rivalry that's been simmering for years and is about to boil over in 2025. Forget everything you thought you knew about the WNBA, because the tension between Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clark is about to reach a whole new level. You've seen these two titans clash before, exchanging highlight reel plays, bold trash talk, and post-game controversies. But trust me, if you think last season was heated, you haven't seen anything yet. This year, that tension is set to erupt like a powder keg, and the entire sports world is bracing for the fallout. Let's rewind to the days before the WNBA spotlight, back when both Angel and Caitlyn were just two basketball prodigies on very different trajectories. Caitlyn Clark, an Iowa native, was lighting up the high school scene with record-smashing point totals and jaw-dropping three-pointers from the logo. Angel Reese, straight out of Maryland, was locking down the paint and polishing a near-automatic double-double. Even as teenagers, both had an unmistakable aura that screamed, "This one's a star in the making." But here's the twist. Whenever they met in AAU tournaments, Angel's team often came out on top, yet Caitlyn's individual heroics stole the spotlight. If you're Angel Reese, you have to wonder if that's where the seeds of frustration were first planted. How many times can you win the game, but still watch the headlines revolve around someone else's three-point barrage? Fast forward to college. Caitlyn stuck close to home at the University of Iowa, eager to flourish under a coaching staff renowned for developing standout point guards. Angel Reese initially stayed home as well, committing to Maryland, a program that had pursued her since she was just in 8th grade. On the surface, each player seemed set to chart her own path, but from the first time they squared off in NCAA competition, the tension became palpable. Maryland won, but it was Caitlyn Clark's mesmerizing shooting that dominated the post-game discussion. She poured in 34 points, broke Iowa's freshman scoring record, and had the entire basketball world buzzing about the next big thing. Imagine stepping off the court with a victory, only to find every camera lens and microphone laser focused on the other team's star. If you're Angel Reese, already a fiery competitor, how can resentment not start to brew? She's pulling down rebounds, protecting the rim, putting up solid numbers, and amassing wins, yet Caitlyn's name echoes through every sports outlet. It's almost as if Angel's achievements existed in the shadow of Caitlyn's next viral highlight. That dynamic only intensified when Reese transferred to LSU. In the Bayou, Angel truly took off, ripping through opponents with monstrous rebounding totals, including jaw-dropping 20 and 20 performances. She shattered double-double streaks and anchored an LSU squad that looked more than ready to seize a national title. Meanwhile, Caitlyn had ascended into uncharted territory at Iowa, becoming the first player to ever lead the nation in points and assists in the same season. Every step past half court was a scoring threat, and fans flocked to see her unleash that lethal jump shot from distances that would make most coaches cringe. When they finally met in the 2023 NCAA championship, it was the perfect storm. Almost 10 million viewers tuned in, turning the game into the most watched event in women's college basketball history. You could feel the suspense crackling in the air. Angel's LSU looking for a statement win, Caitlyn's Iowa rallying behind the scariest shooter in the game. The game, of course, delivered on the hype. Caitlyn opened with a barrage of threes, but Angel and her Tigers fired back with a balanced offensive onslaught that overwhelmed Iowa's somewhat one-dimensional attack. And then came the moment that truly lit the fuse. Angel hitting Caitlyn with that now iconic taunt, shadowing her around the court, waving a ring finger in the sharpshooter's face. It was as if Angel had finally decided, enough is enough. You will acknowledge me now. The immediate aftermath became a social media firestorm. Some called Angel a villain, others defended her as simply giving Caitlyn a taste of her own medicine. Caitlyn, for her part, took the high road, dismissing the controversy and praising Angel's competitive spirit. But the rivalry had been cemented. Reese versus Clark was now the must-watch storyline in women's basketball, and you could almost see a spark of satisfaction in Angel's eyes, as if she'd finally gotten the confrontation she'd long been denied. Yet the tension didn't evaporate. 1 year later, their collegiate collegiate paths crossed yet again in the Elite Eight. This time, Caitlyn unleashed one of the greatest individual performances women's basketball has ever witnessed. 41 points, 12 assists, and an endless barrage of deep threes. She played all 40 minutes like a woman possessed. It was a statement. No matter how many times Angel Reese had beaten her, Caitlyn refused to be overshadowed. You can bet Angel felt the sting of that performance, even though she remained a dominant factor with her power around the rim. It's hard not to let some part of you wonder, why am I not the one making headlines for a 41-point explosion? Both players then jumped to the WNBA. Caitlyn Clark went first overall in the 2024 draft, immediately inking a staggering $28 million Nike deal before ever setting foot in a WNBA game. Angel, selected 7th, secured a respectable contract with Reebok, although the financials weren't nearly as headline-grabbing. And that's where we start seeing the next chapter of this rivalry get real. Anyone who's been around professional sports knows that money and endorsement deals can stoke the fires of jealousy like nothing else. It's one thing to share highlight reels. It's another to watch the other star collect life-changing sums of cash and worldwide ad campaigns. At some point, the simmering resentments can't help but boil. In their rookie WNBA season, the friction between them only sharpened. Sure, both flashed moments of sportsmanship, like on a Team USA exhibition game where Caitlyn dished a perfect assist to Angel, followed by a quick high five. But those fleeting gestures of unity did little to cover up the obvious tension. Physical plays, flagrant fouls, locked eyes across the court. It all came to a head more than once. The cameras captured moments of Angel firing off a hard foul on Caitlyn, sending her sprawling and not offering even a cursory check to see if she was okay. In another instance, a teammate of Angel's unleashed a verbal tirade at Caitlyn and slammed her to the ground, with Angel cheering from the sidelines. With each passing game, the question looms: is this just standard high-level competition, or is Angel Reese's jealousy starting to boil over? Think about the vantage point. You're Angel, a near unstoppable paint presence, historically overshadowed by the jaw-dropping spectacle of Caitlyn's unlimited range. And now, with millions of dollars and a global marketing campaign behind Clark, that sense of overshadowing has become more literal than ever. Every sneaker commercial, every highlight montage, every viral clip, it's Caitlyn's face beaming through the screen. Meanwhile, Angel is the one who's historically had the hardware when it counts, yet somehow she keeps finding herself in the media's second slot. Which brings us to why 2025 is poised to be the year this rivalry absolutely explodes. Their first season in the WNBA was all about adjusting, learning systems, finding team chemistry, and of course building personal brands. But by 2025, both are going to be more settled, more confident, and more entrenched as the faces of their franchises. The league itself is banking on them to carry it to unprecedented heights. You can already picture it: marquee matchups scheduled for prime time, promotional billboards plastered across major cities, and social media hype machines working overtime. Once that second season starts, the narrative around Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clark goes from curiosity to downright obsession, because now the differences and the resentments that have been quietly, and sometimes not so quietly, lurking in the background are ready to erupt. The more Angel sees Caitlyn's face on posters, the more she has to think, I've beaten her multiple times, I've got rings, I've had my moments in the sun, but why is she still the talk of the town? Conversely, Caitlyn steps out to the center of the court, hearing deafening cheers, knowing she's the league's current sensation, and maybe she can't help but feel that Angel is out for blood, determined to knock her from that top spot. People compare their dynamic to Magic and Bird from the 80s, but in Magic and Bird's story, the rivalry morphed into mutual respect and even friendship over time. Here, it's uncertain whether these two will ever find that peaceful plateau, because if social media has taught us anything, modern rivalries are relentless. Every single incident, every scorching comment, every savage block, every cold-shouldered handshake will get magnified, dissected, and debated by millions of fans instantly. It creates an environment where even if Caitlyn wanted to extend an olive branch, she might think twice. And if Angel was ever tempted to just let the game be the game, her pride might still urge her to prove she's the alpha. It's not just about marketing either. There's real basketball on the line. Both rosters are being meticulously built around their star. By 2025, it's totally plausible these two teams become leading championship contenders, setting the stage for an epic playoff series, maybe even a final showdown. Can you imagine the intensity if a title is on the line? Because that's when grudges either explode into full-blown fiascos or transform into grudging respect. And given everything we've seen, the swagger, the trash talk, the raw competitive fire, bet on an explosion before a hug fest. Reporters are going to swarm them at every turn. Angel, do you think you should have gone first overall in that draft? Caitlyn, how do you feel about Angel saying she doesn't get the respect she deserves? Angel, what's your reaction to Caitlyn's new big endorsement deal, rumored to be even bigger than the last? The barrage of questions is never ending, and each one is a potential spark to the powder keg of 2025. At some point, we'll see cracks in those calm, rehearsed interviews. It might come in the form of a short, clipped response, maybe a pointed comment about someone's defensive skills, maybe a meme on social media that sets off a feud in the comment section. Whatever the trigger, that tension's been simmering for years, and 2025 is the year it finally boils. So yes, Court Vision 360 fans, brace yourselves. This isn't just a casual rivalry. This is potentially the biggest storyline in sports, where jealousy, pride, and ambition all collide under the brightest of spotlights. Angel Reese, the champion who's tired of living in someone else's viral shadow, and Caitlyn Clark, the unstoppable shooter who's become the face of a league. Both unstoppable forces, both determined to define an era in women's basketball. The only thing more certain than their continued dominance is the inevitable fireworks when they meet on the court. If you think you've seen real drama before, you haven't seen anything yet. We're heading toward a showdown that could make all their past encounters look tame. The crackle of intensity that's characterized every one of their matchups will erupt into a full-blown inferno. And here's the thing, we need it. The WNBA, women's basketball, the entire sports universe. Everyone is hungry for that sort of raw, unfiltered, high-stakes rivalry that redefines what it means to watch two superstars lock horns. Prepare for the headlines, the viral clips, the sideline confrontations, and the dramatic last-second shots that will cement this rivalry in the annals of basketball history. Because deep down, we all know that 2025 is when Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clark go from being two of the greatest young talents in the game to something more. Icons defined by a personal duel that transcends the sport. And with Angel's growing jealousy and Caitlyn's unshakable confidence, the question is not if, but when the next explosive chapter will unfold. So stay tuned, Court Vision 360 faithful. Keep your eyes on the schedules and circle those matchups. Because when the dust settles and the final buzzer sounds in 2025, we might be talking about the greatest rivalry basketball has ever seen. History is happening right now, and we're all invited to witness it live. Let the countdown begin. The stage is set, the tension is real, and trust me, when these two forces collide, the entire sports world will never be the same.